Can you really become fluent in French in 90 days? Spoiler, yes. And in this video, I will show you exactly how. Don't get me wrong, it's not going to be an easy road. But if you're really motivated, it's possible. I'm going to define a 90 days challenge for you, and here's what you need. First, let's define fluency. For our purposes, we're talking about being conversational, to hold meaningful conversations on a variety of topics without constantly searching for words. So what does it take to become fluent in 90 days? To pull off this 90-day miracle, you will have to live and breathe French. It's not for the faint of heart, but here's what you'll need. Alright, let's talk about weekly goals. Every week, your focus will shift slightly to keep building momentum. Week 1 to week 3, foundation phase. Learn the 1000 most common words in French, basic grammar, and phrases for everyday situations. Think of this as your survival kit. I will share resources for every phase in the description. Week 4 to week 6, practice phase. Start speaking more confidently. Practice forming complete sentences and engage in mini conversations about simple topics like family, hobbies, food, or work. Week 7 to 9, immersion phase. Challenge yourself with harder tasks like storytelling, listening to fast conversations, and participating in group chats or even language meetups. Week 10 to week 12, mastery phase. By now you should be able to hold, I would say, like basic conversations and express your thought with ease. Focus on polishing pronunciation, filling knowledge gaps, and building fluency on more complex topics like opinions or emotions. Now let's get a little more granular. Here's what the days are going to look like for you. And remember, I'm going to share with you a list of resources in the description. So your day is going to look like a 5-hour daily breakdown. During your mornings, you should spend an hour working on grammar and vocabulary. Start your days by building the basics. Memorize 30 to 50 new words every day. And remember, focus on the list of the most frequent words used in French. This will help a lot. You should review these words constantly and add it to your list. Focus on essential grammar rules and the structure of a sentence in French. Look at the main conjugations in French, present tense and past tense to start with. And from the very beginning, while you learn new vocabulary and your new nouns, make sure you learn the gender with it. Flashcards, apps, whatever works for you, just use it. During the late morning, you should spend, I would say, at least 2 hours for listening practice. Immerse yourself in French audio. Listen to podcasts, radio, even kids shows work a lot, especially as a beginner. Or ideally, comprehensible input optimized for learning. The key is to train your brain to recognize the sounding of French and the patterns. At this stage, understanding is more important than speaking. In the early afternoon, I would recommend you to spend an hour talking. Yes, a full hour of speaking every day. And if you don't have a partner, well, speak to yourself, record yourself, take easy sentences on YouTube and mimic them. It's awkward, but effective. If you do have a partner, what you can do is start with cross-talking, and you will get more input exposure, which is good. At the beginning, you can still speak English, but your partner should always answer in French. So you're focusing on the comprehension and not speaking too early. I do have a good resource for AI conversations, and I will link it in the description. And if you're using this AI, it's the same as if you were talking to a real person. You speak English, the AI answers in French. Once you're more confident, you can switch it so that the AI will recognize you speaking French and the robot will answer in French as well. So 100% in French. Finally, I would spend an hour, maybe in the evening, on reading. You should dive into very simple text, short stories, magazines, kids' books or stories, or even captions on Instagram. Reading will help develop vocabulary first, and the grammar is also going to start to make sense while starting reading. It's also pretty difficult to find reading materials at this early stage. So as you guessed, I also have a link for you in the description for that. So there are a few non-negotiable for success. Here's what you absolutely need to stick with if you want even a chance at it. Number 1 is consistency. No skip days, zeros. Number 2 is accountability. Keep a progress journal or work with a coach. Number 3 is focus. Eliminate distraction during your study sessions. This isn't a time to multitasking or even half committing. If you can stick to this schedule for 3 months straight, then you might actually hate your life. But what if I told you there's a much better way? The internet is full of bold promises about learning a language in 90 days. The truth, fluency is not built on shortcuts. It's about building consistent habits. Even with 5 hours a day for 3 months, that's 420 hours of study. For most people, that's just not possible, or it's actually the bare minimum to become conversational. Instead of stressing about cramming, focus on the proven method that works: comprehensible input. It's how babies learn languages, and it's how you can master French without burning out. It's about immersing yourself in content that is challenging enough to push your skills forward while staying engaging and fun. That's why we created Immersion.co to help you learn French the way it's supposed to be learned. And here's what you get: hours of content 100% in French. The content highlights real-world scenarios, engaging stories, and cultural content in both videos and readings. We also have the world's most advanced AI tutor. This is how users can start speaking French from day one. Think of it as your virtual language coach that actually never gets tired. There's also weekly private tutoring with me. I will personally keep you accountable, answer your questions, and make sure you stay motivated. We also have a tool so that you can witness your progress. The platform tracks every second of input and every second of output. The content is divided into 4 levels of difficulty. The more you watch, the more advanced the AI becomes. So let's talk about what a realistic roadmap to fluency looks like. It's all about prioritizing input, listening and reading before diving into speaking. This method ensures that you have a solid foundation to build on when you can start output or speaking. Here's a month-by-month breakdown. Months 1 to month 3. Immerse yourself in input. Focus exclusively on listening and use content that's designed to match your level. Start with easy-to-understand French stories, dialogues, and videos that use everyday vocabulary. And don't stress about understanding every word. Your brain will naturally start observing the language and recognize patterns. To become fluent with Immersion within 12 months, I recommend spending 12 hours a week on the platform to reach 576 hours of comprehensible input. To become only just conversational within a year with Immersion, I recommend spending 6 hours a week on the platform to reach 288 hours of comprehensible input. You can start using the AI to keep your learning engaging. Immersion has developed cross-talking. You speak English and the AI answers in French. And when you're ready, you can switch to full French immersion. Think of these months as soaking in the language. It's about getting used to how French sounds and flows, not about perfection. Months 4 to 6. You have to strengthen input and deepen into output. Continue prioritizing input, but introduce light speaking practice. By now, you've absorbed hundreds of hours of French and you're ready to start talking, but just a little. Use the AI for controlled practice sessions. This is the time to practice forming very basic sentences, like introducing yourself, asking simple questions, and describing your day. Gradually add more challenging readings materials, like magazines or short stories. This helps you expand vocabulary and see how the language works in different contexts. The more input you consume now, the smoother transition to fluent speaking later. Months 7 to 12, amplifying output. This is where you shift focus to speaking and conversation. After 6 months of intense input, you'll have built a mental library of vocabulary, phrases, and grammar structures. Now it's time to bring it all together. So here's are the key activities: regular speaking sessions with your AI in full French, and your weekly private lesson with me. We can role play real life scenarios like ordering at a restaurant, discussing your favorite book, or planning a trip. You'll also have to engage in conversations. If you have French speaking friends, start chatting with them, and don't worry about mistakes. They're part of the process. Balance input and output. Keep up your reading and listening to maintain exposure while practice speaking. This is where everything clicks. You will feel more confident expressing yourself and holding conversation on a variety of topics. And here's the final tips for success. Be consistent. Even 30 minutes a day will make the difference. Fluency is built on small, steady steps. Stay patient. You might not notice progress day to day, but over weeks and months, the transition will amaze you. Celebrate milestones. Your first full conversation in French. Understanding a movie without subtitles. These are huge wins. So forget the unrealistic promises of becoming fluent in 90 days. Instead, take a proven, sustainable path that sets you up for lasting success. Fluency is a journey, not a race. And if you're ready to commit to the right plan, head over to Immersion.co and start your journey to mastering French. And hey, let me know in the comments what's your biggest challenge in learning French. I would love to help. À très bientôt. Mouah! Énorme bisous. Salut!